video earlier which showed the senior investigating officer speaking about the case. Do you feel that there's sort of more on side now? How has that sort of relationship changed over the years, and are you happy at where that relationship is at the moment?
I would say it fluctuates. It's quite good for a while, and then it sort of peters out, and it sort of quite a few months, I would say communication isn't that great, and it's usually me that I'm contacting and approaching them for asking questions, maybe things that I've asked before and I didn't quite understand it, maybe about the mobile phone data, or maybe just various things. Sometimes it takes quite a while to answer, and I do realize they've got other cases as well, but as a mum, I don't really expect to wait 2 or 3 weeks for answers. So, that's just me. It's my daughter. She's missing 5 years and I need my answers. And I'm just in this, that focus for, that's it. I mean, I'm sure all the other missing families are the same. So I must say it's improved. It's improved. And, Andy has done, he's been very consistent, I would say. And I think he inherited a bad case, a bad investigation when he took over, because the consistency, I think, in the beginning wasn't great. We were told Giles York was in charge. We were told
he was the previous chief constable, wasn't he?
We were also told Mike Ashcroft was in charge, but not really on the public side, but it was really, so we Simon Dunn was also the assistant, assisted the deputy, and we used to see him quite a bit all the time. So really, we didn't really know, not like now. Andy Wolstenholme's the senior investigating officer. He has been since May 2019. That's it. That's him. But at that time, it was Mike Ashcroft. What was the other one? I forgot his name now. Miles Ockwell. Then it was, Miles Ockwell's now in charge. And, what happened to Giles York? He's retired now, or he's not on it now. And he's for Sussex and Surrey major crime. But we don't really want people to know it's on the major crime, because they'll start thinking this. Well, why would they start thinking that? No reason. But they're just looking. I think in the beginning we were quite naive, because, didn't really have any experience with any police cases or anything. I mean, I certainly hadn't. So I think we were quite naive, and we believed everything, and we didn't really ask too many questions. We just put Georgina in their hands and our trust and everything, and just thought, well, that's what police do. They'll get the answers. And I remember asking once about, a couple of months down the line about, well, how long do you think it will be? Well, it could take 2 years. Some missing cases take 2 years. And I was absolutely disheartened, and that thinking, how can we ever wait 2 years? And not thinking that we were going to be here 5 years. And that's, at that time, seemed a lifetime. I think in 2 years, don't be ridiculous. I remember sort of thinking, don't be silly. You're going to find her soon. And here we are 5 years later.
I just want to quickly read out a written statement from Andy, actually, who's singing your praises and the work that you've done. He said, "We as committed today as we were on day one to finding out what happened to Georgina. I absolutely understand the frustration and upset that Georgina's disappearance has brought to her mother, Andrea, and the wider family. We're in contact with them, and we welcome and enjoy that contact. And we work with them constantly, even 5 years on, because we all share the same aim, solving this case and getting answers for the family about what happened to Georgina. I'm hugely supportive of Andrea's work in making sure Georgina's story is in the public eye and shared with the widest possible audience. And we have supported this with numerous public appeals of our own, both on social media, in the news media, and on TV. In the same way that our investigation has continued for 5 years and will continue beyond, I know that Andrea's campaign won't stop until she's got the answers that she needs about what's happened to her daughter. I'm fully supportive of that, and will always be." So I guess just a final question from me is, with everything you know, in your heart of hearts, what do you think has happened to Georgina?
I mean, I can't say what I think has happened. I, I always do keep a little bit of hope because there's no evidence, but I do, because we've never ever heard from her. And I think if Georgina had been taken, I think she would have gone out of her way or tried her hardest to get in contact and get some message to let her know her boys that she loved them, or something like that, or for me that just, Mum, I'm okay, don't I'm just to let you know that I'm okay, because I know Georgina, what she's like. So my feelings do sway more to that Georgina's come to some harm. But as I said, I have got a little part of me that I keep with the hope, just because there's no evidence. They've never found a body. They've never found any item at all of Georgina's belongings, at all. So just for me, I can still hold that hope, and that hope gives me that drive all the time to carry on. Because if I didn't have that, then I wouldn't. If I didn't have any hope, then there's no point in me doing all this. I just have to accept that Georgina's come to some harm, and that's it. But I do have a little tiny bit, but also it's overwhelmed by the not so nice part.
Well, I've got nothing but admiration. I'm with Andy here in terms of just the relentless campaign that you've led over the last 5 years. It's been a pleasure to know you over some of that time as a reporter, and obviously coming on our show today. So thank you so much for coming on. Just if anyone has any information about Georgina Garsala, you can obviously speak to Andrea, or you can report it on the police, call them on 101, quoting Operation Parvo. There's a £20,000 Crime Stoppers reward for information. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me and inviting me on today. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Well, I've been Jodie Doherty-Coath. Thanks for tuning in this week in the absence of Mark Williams-Thomas. He should be back in the next couple of weeks or so when we next go live. So make sure to subscribe.